Thank you, Mayor. I'm a Vancouver resident and opposed to this project. I want to thank you for all of council for your time today and the afternoons and evenings to come. I'd like to also be clear at the start, I worked briefly for the Kitsilano Coalition in 2021 and for St. Augustine School until earlier this year, but I neither work for nor speak for either of those. But I strongly agree with their deep and thoughtful objections to this BC housing project. And this should not be a difficult decision for you. First, it is far, far too big and too tall for this neighborhood. 13 stories would be opposed by the Kitsilano community, whether it was for luxury condominiums or for supportive housing. This is an unwelcome density, period. Secondly, this project should never, ever have gotten to this stage at a council public hearing, given the overwhelming opposition expressed by the community at every opportunity. It is the wrong size in the wrong place. Third, this is also the wrong approach. It is not integrating those in need of housing with the community, as many other social housing projects have done in Kitsilano. It is isolating them in an incredibly obvious and giant tower, unlike anything in the Arbutus and Broadway area. It is warehousing people in need of housing in a tower of 129 single rooms. It is 60 feet from an elementary school, and that alone should have disqualified it completely. It is next to an existing effective shelter for women, and that too should have disqualified this site on its own. There has not been a single open public hearing to allow the Kitsilano community to be collectively informed and to have its concerns heard and responded to. Again, this is grounds for disqualification. Let's be blunt. This BC housing project should have never got through the initial application, let alone get to council, and that's on you as a council and on the city staff. Please do not accept unfair allegations that Kitsilano or this neighborhood are, quote, anti-homeless. Just the opposite. It has many social housing and supportive housing projects, and it has had for many years. It is this particular BC housing project that is over height, over density, warehousing people 60 feet from an elementary school, single rooms only next to a shelter for women, and not in any way a fit for the neighborhood. That is the problem, not this great neighborhood. I urge you strongly to reject this proposal. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. You do have some questions. Councillor Hardwick, up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Bill. Interesting comment you started with, saying that if this was a 13-story luxury strata condo unit, the neighborhood would not object. Are you sure about that?
No, I said the opposite, Councillor Hardwick. I said whether it was luxury condos or supportive housing, the neighborhood would object. Sorry if you misunderstood.
Okay, that's interesting. If it was luxury condos, I might have had more of an issue. You talk about the public process. We're having a public hearing here now. You suggested that there had been not a single open public hearing in the neighborhood. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
Certainly. I think that there should have been, and I understand some of the restrictions of COVID, but there hasn't been an opportunity for the Kitsilano community, the neighborhood, to come together, hear from the city, hear from BC Housing, hear from the proponent or the applicant to run this facility, ask their questions in a group way, see what the answers are, and register their concerns and have them addressed. A council hearing is the final stage because you are going to proceed to a vote. We don't have the community together. If I look online, I suspect there's probably a few dozen people watching this because it's in the afternoon, and in any case, I would expect a situation where the community was brought together, given several opportunities to have input and concerns raised and have them responded to, so that they could make a more informed decision whether they oppose or support this project. That has not happened.
So heightened density, but not social use per se. You said there's a bunch of other social housing in the neighborhood, correct?
Well, there's the Sancta Maria Shelter for Women, which has been operating for, I believe, 15 years, which is right next to this location. There are several other locations in Kitsilano, most of which most people wouldn't even know about because they aren't 13 stories tall and don't have 130 people in them. I think that in and of itself speaks to the success that a more integrated and more low-rise and low-density facility has.
So in your way of looking at things, a integrated facility that was brought into the neighborhood of a lower height would be acceptable to the neighborhood?
Well, I think it's already been proven to be acceptable in several locations in Kitsilano. I believe there's over 13 locations that are currently operating, and we don't have reports coming to police or council or anywhere else that there's significant problems with those. I think that's, I think council's been somewhat jammed into a situation to accept a tower or nothing, and that is extremely unfortunate. But if we hadn't got this application to this stage, we could have, if council and staff and the city had said, this isn't going to fly, this isn't going to work, as staff previously did on an 11-story proposal at the Broadway and Arbutus Shell Station location, that was rejected before it even got to council. If this had gone that way and been rejected at the right stage, as I said before, then we could have been looking at alternatives by this time instead of looking at this proposal, which is just the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong size, the wrong density, everything else about it is wrong.
Thank you very much.